Welcome to Pots, Pans, and Pioneers. Today I'm going to be making wassail. I learned to make wassail from my grandmother, and then my mother took on her own version of wassail. So this is going to be a combination of what my grandmother taught me and my mother taught me. And I don't really have my own original recipe of it because I really like both of theirs. So this is a combination of what I've learned. Wassail is a traditional drink that I believe started in the European countries, and you can Google it. I'll leave the link to the Wikipedia information on wassail. Some people call it wassail. I'm from Texas, and so we all say wassail around here, so that's how I'm going to pronounce it. So wassail has a base of apple juice in most recipes, and I noticed when I searched on Google to see who was making it, I only found a couple of videos, and they had like maybe 3 or 4 ingredients. And what you're going to learn about this recipe is that it's certainly more than 3 or 4 ingredients, and I think you'll see a big difference in what they make and what this tastes like. So I encourage you to try other recipes, but don't forget to try this one. So let's start with some apple juice, and this is just organic apple juice, and this is going to be our base. I'll also leave the recipe on potspansandpioneers.com, and we're going to turn our heat to a medium high because we don't want this to come to a rolling boil. And I'm going to eyeball this a little bit. This is a 2-quart container of apple juice, and this is juice from the concentrate, is organic. So there's no extra sugar added, there's no preservatives in it whatsoever. Now, what's great about wassail for all the preppers and people who preserve food, wassail is great when you're not feeling well and you're sick. It really gives you a really boost of energy with natural sugars, because I'm not going to be adding any refined sugar whatsoever to this recipe. And I noticed some other recipes had a cup of sugar or a lack thereof. I've seen even some artificial sweeteners. I'm not going to do that. So then we're going to be adding some orange juice. And this is just orange juice that has been infused with pineapple juice. You can buy pineapple juice separately, but I like to buy it with it already blended together, so I get really good even ratios. So I'm going to add about half of this, and we're looking at about 1.8 quarts. So I'm adding about half of the orange juice. The next thing we're going to add is ruby red grapefruit juice. And I'm going to be adding, I would say, 2 cups of ruby red. Ruby red is unlike any other grapefruit juice. It has a really non-tart, more sweet on the sweet side than the tart side. If you've ever had a ruby red grapefruit, they're grown here in Texas and they're awesome. So I'm going to add about 2 cups of ruby red grapefruit juice. Then I'm going to be adding, I buy this particular brand. They're probably not organic, but I buy organic wherever I can. This is an apricot nectar, and we're going to be adding this entire can. And I believe it is a 11.5 fluid ounces. So almost a 12-ounce can of peach, or excuse me, apricot nectar. I'm just going to add that whole can. Then we're going to be adding some guava nectar. So, and this is the brand. I find these cans of juices where they sell Mexican food in the grocery store. So it's odd, but that's where I find them. They're not on the juice aisle. So I'm going to shake this up a little bit. And this is guava. Now do your research. Guava is really high in potassium. It's double the potassium of a banana. So it's really, really good for you. We're going to add 12 ounces of guava. Now we're going to be adding peach nectar. And I don't know if you can see that peach nectar. I need to stand out of the way. Sorry, my lighting in my kitchen is just never good. When I go to buy another house, I'm going to make sure the lighting in my kitchen is the most important thing I look for. Add that can of peach nectar. Don't forget, recycle your aluminum. The next thing we're going to add is pear nectar. Let me move out of the way so you can see. This is pear nectar. Now, most people believe that Wassail is like spiced apple cider. It's not. I only put a base of apple. The rest is not, majority of it is not apple at all, so I guess I might debate that. It's not an apple cider. And then the last one I'm going to add is the, this is a strawberry banana. And this is from the concentrate, and it's just the nectar. So I'm going to add that. So think about all the fruits we've added so far. This is some really, really good wassail. Now, I'm going to sprinkle some cinnamon, and I'm going to do it the way I know to do it, but certainly you can do cinnamon to taste. You could even throw a couple of cinnamon sticks in here. I don't like throwing cinnamon sticks in my wassail because when my grandmother did it, after certain, she would leave it on the stove all day long, by the way. This is going to make your house smell like the holidays. And the cinnamon sticks would kind of fall apart and you'd occasionally get one in your mouth, so I prefer to use cinnamon that's in the shaker. So I'm just going to eyeball it, and I'll leave what I believe to be the recipe of how much cinnamon in my recipe on my blog. We're going to use some pumpkin pie spice, so we get those cloves and allspice in there. And we're going to add some ginger because we know the benefits of ginger in all of the foods that we should be eating. Ginger is recommended. It's a natural anti-inflammatory. This drink is awesome if you have fibromyalgia because the spices that you can add in here, any kind of anti-inflammatory is really going to help with fibromyalgia. So it'll actually attack it. So. And then I'm going to add some honey. Now, I'm using organic honey, but you're going to want to make sure and buy local honey. A lot of what is sold in the grocery stores is not honey at all. And you want to make sure it's from your local area to get the full benefits of honey because of, you know, the bees in your area and all the things they're capturing in the local flowers, etc. You just really want to make sure that you are buying local organic honey. And it's not cheap. I know that. Okay, and I know you're thinking, is she going to ever stir this? I am going to stir it. I'm going to stir it with a ladle. There's a hard one. So I'm just gonna stir, and it does look like a spiced apple cider, but trust me when I tell you, it's not gonna taste like an apple cider. You will taste the apple, but it's not gonna overpower this drink. And the best part about this is you can can this. So you can have it any time of the year. If you're having a flu in your house, or you're having, you know, common cold, and your doctor says liquids only, this is awesome. So what you do is you let this simmer, and you don't ever let it boil. You never want to let this boil, because once you do, if you let it sit on the stove and you boil, one, it will boil over, but two, it'll scorch at the bottom, and it totally changes the taste of the wassail. So I think it's real important to just let it simmer. Once it gets to temperature, I turn it down, and then whoever comes through the kitchen and wants wassail, they can take the ladle, and they can absolutely, you know, just get them a cup of wassail. And just for grins, I'm going to take a taste before it gets too hot, just to make sure. Yeah. This is really good. I think it needs more orange juice, so I'm going to add a little more orange juice. Just give it a stir. Taste it one more time. Perfect. Okay, so all you do is heat this up and serve it right in a mug. If you need to heat it in the microwave, I would not put it on any more than 35-40 seconds on your microwave, and test it to make sure it doesn't scald. This is a wonderful holiday beverage, and I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you will come back next time and join us. And everybody have a wonderful holiday.